Hello and welcome to Bliponomics. Phil is still in line at the DMV. I'm Jerry Anthony, and tonight we are talking all things Duh-Fontaine's Duh-vengers. Should I be saying the Duh-vengers? That sounds mean. Should I? I mean, what about the CIA Vengers? The B-vengers. I like the B-vengers, but that was already done. We'll just stick with the Duh-vengers. The CIA Avengers. The Duh-vengers. The helicopter crash in New York. The crane collapse outside Avengers Tower. The mass psychosis event in New York City. The whole thing stinks. Let's talk about it. Was it all really a hoax, as some people are suggesting? I'm starting to think so. And I'm going to tell you why. But first, subscribe wherever you're watching to Bliponomics, and if you want to be a part of the show, send us an email at bliponomics@gmail.com. Oh boy, where do we start? All right, let's do a quick timeline that lays out exactly how we got into this shit show. The President of the United States saw fit to nominate Valentina Allegra Duh-Fontaine as head of the CIA. She is an Oxcorp chairman famous for running unregulated human experiments in Malaysia. So, no surprise. A few years later, articles of impeachment for Duh-Fontaine's Oxcorp involvement in human rights violations. That's what you get, CIA. And during her impeachment inquiry, she declares, "We need Avengers." So her next move, she buys Avengers Tower. Who knew she had tower buying money? So she buys Avengers Tower, but she has no Avengers. Or does she? This is where it starts to get a little shady, and the part that gets into a lot of conjecture. You decide. On the day of the disaster, she calls the press, and the press arrives just in time to witness a helicopter crash into one of the Avengers Tower's cranes. Conveniently, we had Avengers suited up and ready to go, saving kids in front of witnesses. I mean, it was hardly a Chitauri invasion, but they were pretty brave. They definitely saved lives. And when the dust settled, magically there was a stage and a backdrop all ready to go. And the press was right there, ready to thank Valentina and her new team of heroes. She was right all along, and we can just forget all that pesky impeachment stuff, right? That sounds like some bullshit. Why was the press called to the very spot hours before? What was the stage and backdrop all set up for? For a helicopter crash and a crane collapse that supposedly organically rings in the dawn of the new Avengers? The new U.S. government-sponsored and approved team of costume superheroes, just so they can't be in violation of Wilson Fisk's no vigilantes policy, but we'll get to that next episode. And all this just so happens to coincide with the opening of a new Avengers Tower, which they call the Watchtower. So it appears the new Avengers not only saved the day, but also saved Valentina's ass from impeachment. And she got some public goodwill and government funding for her new Watchtower renovation project. No one's going to call it that. It's the Avengers Tower, right? This is all very convenient for Ms. Duh-Fontaine. So convenient it stinks. This whole thing stinks. And some people who aren't blinded by the idea of having the Avengers being back are saying it was a hoax. I'm not saying it was a hoax. I don't want to get sued. But without more information, clarification, I know I don't trust a word out of Miss Duh-Fontaine's mouth. But what about the mass psychosis event? What was that? No one is even sure it was related to the helicopter crash. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about this. I didn't experience it. But people are truly messed up over that, whatever that was. We don't have any answers. We don't have any good answers. Some people have said it may have been another Westview type event. Others point to Samuel Stearns, speculating he may have been cooperating with the authorities while on the raft and given the CIA some notes on mind control. Just saying these words 5 years ago would kind of sound insane, but it's not insane anymore after what we witnessed with Ross and Stearns and Isaiah Bradley. Mind control. It's here. So enough about the bad. Let's talk about the meh. Let's talk about the new team, the new Avengers. So this new team, what kind of heroes do we have on it? Well, there's no Ant-Man, no Doctor Strange, no Banner, no Thor, no Sam Wilson, no Clint Barton, no Spider-Man, no War Machine, no Nightlight, no Daredevil. Okay. No Wakandans, no Asgardians, no androids, no witches, no aliens, and no Hulks. So what do we got on the new Avengers? Let's see. No Avengers per se, but we have the sister of an Avenger, Yelena Belova, who is the sister of the great Natasha Romanoff. Not a lot is really known about her yet, but she sounds extremely promising. And her dad is also on the team. Yep, Red Guardian is reportedly Miss Belova's father, the first father-daughter Avengers. Cool, I guess. Perhaps a little nepotism going on, considering just last week. Pop Red Guardian was driving a taxi with a slogan on the side saying, "Protecting you from boring evening." He is a real super soldier, though, so, he's not just the new Avengers driver or anything like that. And speaking of super soldiers, we all know him. We all hate him. John Walker made the team. He's back on another redemption tour. We have Ghost. Apparently, she is a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Some dude named Bob. I guess we'll learn more about him later. And last but not least, Congressman James Buchanan Barnes, to my great personal disappointment, has decided to join the team. Punky. Why? This is so disappointing. All that goodwill Sergeant Barnes earned back after everything he went through. The Battle of Earth, rounding up Hydra operatives in the government, helping Sam Wilson defeat the Flag Smashers, getting elected to Congress, and now you're going to leave Team Cap and go join Team Crap. Anyway, so what do you think? Was it all just a hoax? The helicopter, the crane, the mass psychosis event? We didn't even talk about that. How can you even fake that? And what the hell even was that? Was it another Westview-like incident? Or perhaps closer to some recent headlines, what about Sam Stearns? You don't think the CIA has paid a visit to the raft to get some tips on some mind control? Are the new Avengers involved, or are they just pawns? Who knows? The whole thing stinks. But do any of the players in this particular play seem trustworthy or mentally stable to you? That's my story. Let's hear yours. We're going to get to your emails next. Welcome back to Bliponomics. We are going to check out some emails. Our first email, right out the gate, comes from Eddie. Eddie writes, "Jerry, I was nodding my head right up until you hit the whole thing was staged stuff. Buddy, not everything's a hoax just because Valentina brought a podium to a crane collapse. Could she have milked the moment for PR? Absolutely. Did she plan a helicopter crash over a construction site to dodge impeachment? Come on, man. Look, you were right to question the press showing up early. That part's sketchy as hell. And yeah, the stage backdrop didn't build itself. But don't toss out the whole day as some kind of CIA magic trick. A crash happened. People saw it. And yeah, the new Avengers were weirdly ready. But that's not proof of a cover-up. That's just suspicious timing. Where you really hit the bullseye was the mass psychosis thing. That is not normal. Westview level weird. If the CIA has been poking around in Samuel Stearns' skull, we've got bigger problems than fake superhero press conferences. Give these guys a chance, Jerry. No one knew who Barton or Romanoff were before the Battle of New York. Besides, it's nice to have Avengers again in New York City. Just maybe don't throw every wrench in the conspiracy toolbox all at once. Eddie." Thank you for the email, Eddie. All right. That is fair. I should give the new Avengers a chance. I mean, it's probably likely that the new team members themselves are just sort of pawns. Really, I mean, if someone asked you, "Hey, want to join the new Avengers team, be a superhero, impress your friends?" I can't blame or fault the actual team members. Valentina Allegra Duh-Fontaine, on the other hand. Anyway, let's get to the next email. This is from Claire. Claire writes, "Jerry, I like your show, usually. But the way you talk about the mass psychosis event, that was garbage. What happened downtown wasn't some maybe it's fake footnote you toss off mid-rant. People were crying, screaming, collapsing. It wasn't a hallucination, it happened. No one's giving us answers. Not the mayor's office, not the Watchtower people, and sure as hell not Valentina. And if the reason is because Stearns gave the CIA a new toy to play with, then we're all walking around inside the next Westview and don't even know it yet. Whoa. But when you turn it into a punchline, hoax, coincidence, convenient, you make it easier for them to bury the story. That's what they did in Jersey. Don't help them do it again. Claire. Thank you for the email, Claire. Not enough information has been made available as of yet regarding the event in New York City, and that is why we're here. And we at Bliponomics are all about justice for Westview. We started the hashtag. And we're not going to let the CIA sweep this under the rug. But what you said about we're all walking around inside the next Westview, damn, that's dark. If we were being mind controlled, I doubt we'd know it. Yeah. Westview, Washington, D.C., and now possibly New York City having mind control events. Scary times we live in. Next email is from Marcus. Marcus writes, I don't like these new Avengers, but they showed up. Jerry, you're not wrong to raise an eyebrow about how perfectly everything lined up that day. Helicopter hits the crane, press on site, team poised like they were waiting for a slow clap. Yeah, it's fishy. Real fishy. But here's my issue. You're treating this like it was all fake. It wasn't. I was 4 blocks away when that crane came down, and let me tell you, it was chaos. Panic, screaming, people got hurt. And while everyone was running from the scene, those new Avengers ran in. I don't like them. I don't trust Duh-Fontaine, and John Walker still makes my skin crawl. But facts are facts. They helped. Do I think Valentina milked it for PR? Of course. But that doesn't make it a hoax. You're smart enough to separate a real crisis from a politician's spin, so why lump them together? What I really like to hear you talk about is what this means for vigilante laws. Fisk says no costumes. Now suddenly the government has costumes with contracts? That's the story. Who gets to be a hero and who gets jail time for trying? Marcus, thank you for the email. Well, Marcus, it means nothing. The new Avengers are essentially the federal government soldiers who can operate wherever they choose. They aren't beholden to Mayor Fisk's crusade against vigilantes because they, by definition, aren't vigilantes. And to answer your second question, who gets to choose to be a hero and who gets prison time? Apparently, director Duh-Fontaine gets to decide who gets to be Duh-vengers. But thank you for your email, Marcus. Our next email is from Tanya. Jerry, Tanya here. You keep asking, was this a hoax? You're missing the better question. Who benefits? Valentina was halfway out the door on impeachment. Suddenly she's got a shiny new tower, a brand new team, and a national moment of applause. She played the optics like a maestro. That part you nailed. But this wasn't about faking a crash. It was about controlling the narrative around one. It wasn't staged, but it sure as hell was used. That seems to be the growing sentiment. Interesting. You want to know what stinks, Jerry? It's not the crane or the press tent. It's the fact that this city just handed power to the same people who told us they needed superheroes to fix a problem they created. Tanya Reed. Yeah, you nailed it, Tanya. Thank you for the email. You should always look to see who benefits from events like this. And in this particular case, no one benefits more than Duh-Fontaine. And our last email tonight is from a behavioral psychologist, Dr. Harold Kim. Dr. Kim writes, I appreciate your honesty about not knowing what the mass psychosis event was, but I need to push back on your tone. Suggesting it might have been fake is irresponsible. You said yourself, people are truly messed up from this. It's not a hoax. That's trauma. You mentioned Samuel Stearns and mind control tech. That's a real lead. If he shared cognitive induction formulas while on the raft, the CIA may have something that amplifies fear, breaks down sensory processing, and given Valentina's track record with illegal testing, that is a dangerous combo. That is a very dangerous combo. Dr. Kim continues, this isn't about heroism. This is about control. The new Avengers aren't solving problems. They're redefining them. Duh-Fontaine turned a tragedy into her own redemption. Duh-Fontaine needs to be doing time, not pressers patting yourself on the back. Leave the hoax talk behind and chase the science. It's scarier than fiction. Thank you for your email, Dr. Kim. It's nice to have a professional opinion. Focus on science, Morty. That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you, Dimitri. I assure you, Phil will be back next time if you didn't like the job I did tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. We will see you next time.